Alright, so what's up everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And like I said in the previous video, I wanted to do a little bit more content on relevant questions that people send in to me on my social links, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or even on here. And I'll have a look over those questions. If I find that they're relevant to share with you guys, and I feel like if they're going to be educational, helpful for you, I will answer it on a video just to spread that awareness to everybody. So on that note, if anybody has any questions that they want to send in to me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all the links will be in the description. You can add me up on there. If you don't want to, you can leave your comments on here. You can drop them down below in the comment section. I'll read them. If I find that they're useful or going to be educational to do a video on that topic or subject, I will do it and I will put it up on my YouTube channel. The topics and subjects and questions, whatever, can be on anything. It can be on supplementation, it can be on training, nutrition, or even on things like personal questions, mental health. On that note, if you want to ask any questions on mental health, social media, mental health and eating disorders, relationship with food, send in those questions. And on that topic of mental health, I'm repping and wearing my mental health muscle t-shirt given to me by Aaron Clark from the mental health awareness event on Saturday in Shrewsbury, which I talked about in the previous video. So Aaron, if you're watching this video, big shout out to you and much love for showing that awareness for mental health. The guy is such an advocate and has so much passion for awareness on mental health, and this is why I'm repping this t-shirt today, because I'm proud to be a voice of mental health and eating disorders, and I'm proud to wear this t-shirt in honor of Aaron and what he's doing for the community and this industry. So yeah, a big shout out to you, Aaron Clark. But anyway, let's get into today's video, and it's going to be on overtraining, but not just overtraining, overreaching at the same time. Somebody sent in a question asking me, what is overtraining? Can we actually overtrain? Is it a myth or is it all actually facts? So I want to explain in this video what overtraining is, how we can prevent it, what are the symptoms of overtraining, but not just that, overreaching, because not a lot of people understand what overreaching is. But before we get into this video, cue that intro. Many people are familiar with this, they don't really know what overreaching is. So first of all, let's talk about overreaching, because overreaching can potentially lead to overtraining. Overtraining is the worst thing. That's the thing that we don't want to be reaching. Overreaching, reaching, there's like reaching on everything. Overreaching is okay in moderation, but we don't want to be doing it over a long period of time. Overreaching is an acute adaptation, it's an acute condition, so it's something that happens very quickly. This is going to be something like increase of intensity, increase of volume, increase of duration or frequency within our training workouts. So to break it down to make more sense for you guys, what I mean by overreaching is, let's say for example, we follow a set training program week after week. We follow the same exercises, the same rep range, the same amount of sets and the same duration within the gym. Now, if we do this week after week, that's absolutely fine. But then if we try and change something up very quickly, we can overreach. So what I mean by, let's say, increasing intensity, so increasing how much we lift, increasing the volume, how many reps or sets that we do, or increasing the duration that we're in a gym session. So let's say they last an hour and a half, but then we've increased it to 2 hours and 2.5 hours, or we increase the frequency, how many times we train in a week. If we do this consistently, every single day or week after week, that's overreaching. That's an acute condition and acute adaptation. We're very quickly changing things up within our training programs. Now, doing this in moderation is absolutely fine, because studies have shown and proven that doing this in moderation can actually lead to further muscle growth. But if we're doing this week after week, month after month, that will potentially lead to overtraining. Now, overtraining is something that we just don't want to reach. Most of you guys know about overtraining. For those who don't, overtraining is something that's actually quite hard to reach. The reason why it's hard to reach is because a lot of it comes down to how hard we work within our gym sessions. And I don't mean to point the finger at anybody, but there's so many people in the gyms nowadays that don't really push themselves. Working hard to get to that point of overtraining, I mean hard. And when I say hard, I don't mean just going into your training session, pushing as hard as you can and then leaving. I mean going beyond your comfort zone, going to the point where you're either throwing up, you want to cry within your training sessions, you're feeling dizzy, you faint, you pass out. Anything that goes beyond your comfort zone, where you are seriously pushing your body as hard as you can, that is when you potentially can overtrain the body. Because if you do that every single day on a consistent day in day out basis, that is going to potentially lead to overtraining, which we don't want to do. Now, the symptoms of overtraining, because this is something that other people get confused with. They don't really know, are they overtraining or not. I hear so many people say, oh yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of a rest, I'm going to have a day off tomorrow because I feel like I've overtrained. And when I say, right, what's your symptoms? They say, oh, I just feel a little bit tired today. That could just be a fluke. That could simply just be down to the point of you've had a poor night's sleep the day before, you didn't get a good 6 to 7 solid hours sleep, or the day before, you know, whatever you're doing within your day with your work or outside the gym, hobbies, tasks, could have just been a bit stressful on you. You didn't get a good amount of nutrition on that day. You're just stressed in general. All these sorts of things can make a massive impact on your next training session and how you feel both mentally and physically. So many people say, I'm overtrained, I'm going to rest, but are you really? So what are the real, you know, symptoms and signals to show that you actually reached an overtraining state? Reduced energy is one symptom and one sign of overtraining, but when I say a reduce of energy, I mean literally fatigued completely out. So the point where you have no energy to do the simplest task of getting out of bed, or wanting to reach over to grab the remote, walk down the stairs, or go up to the park to walk your dog. When you have literally no energy at all and you feel mentally and physically drained to do the most simplest task, or even just stand there. Let's say just standing there to cook your dinner. That's challenging, that's taxing on your body. That is a sign that you've overtrained your body. Other signs are injuries. If you get regular injuries and pains and niggles within your joints, that could be a sign of overtraining the muscle, because you haven't allowed that muscle to repair and grow back stronger. So you're actually going back into your training session while the muscles is still trying to repair, and you're breaking them down even further. That can weaken your muscles, it can weaken the joints, the connective tissue, all of that, which can actually cause injuries to your muscles and to your joints. Other symptoms and signs are being ill. If you're constantly being ill on a regular basis. Now, if you're somebody who don't really get ill often, it's going to be more obvious to notice if you're getting ill on a regular basis, and that can be a massive sign that you have overtrained. What happens is, when we're going into a training session, we're causing a lot of stress on our body. Once we cause that stress, the immune system doesn't like it, so it suppresses. It makes the immune system a lot weaker. That meaning it's more vulnerable to catch bacteria and viruses and get colds, illnesses and bugs. And that is a big sign that you've overtrained the body, because you're causing too much stress. You're stimulating that stress on a regular basis every single day. You're causing that stimulus to stress the immune system and your whole body, and your body just kind of shuts down. It just gets weaker and weaker to the point where it goes, I can't deal with anymore, and you get injuries and you get bugs and colds. So there are two signs of overtraining. Another symptom of overtraining is an elevation in heart rate. So if you have an elevated heart rate on a regular basis also, that can be a symptom that you are overtraining. Going back to the first symptom that I said about reduction within our energy level. So where we've got less and less energy, it's going to massively affect our day-to-day life. So everything that we do outside the gym, with it being our job, or if we have, you know, family members, kids, loved ones, or whatever, doing the simple tasks around the house, doing the chores, cleaning the car, walking the dog, or just going to work and trying to fulfill your tasks that you have to do at work. All of those become very taxing, very demanding, and that can lead also to being irritable. It can lead to you being snappy at everybody, being blunt, causing a lot of arguments between you and whoever's around you. All these signs, look out for. Your day-to-day life is going to be massively affected. Now, those are some of the symptoms and signals of overtraining. The question now is, how do we recover? How do we repair ourselves from overtraining? If we got to that state, how do we repair ourselves, or how do we prevent ourselves from getting to that state? The only answer to that is rest. That's it. There's no scientific, magical method or program or routine or pill that's going to prevent us from overtraining other than rest. We need to make sure we implement in our routines, in a weekly basis some sort of rest days, whether it be 1 rest day, 2 rest days, 3, 4, whatever it may be. That will depend on the individual and how hard they're pushing within their training sessions and how intense their workouts are and what their goals are as well. All these need to be in consideration to how much rest that we need, but rest is so important. Now, if we've actually reached that state of overtrained, if you're seeing those signals, this is where it can actually get very mentally hard, because what's going to happen is you need to rest, not just 1 or 2 days a week. You're going to have like 1 to 2 or maybe even 3 weeks off solid from going to the gym, just simply to allow your body to recharge itself, to recover, to repair, and just let everything get back to a normal baseline level, because you're going to mess things like your neurotransmitters, so your nerve system's going to be damaged, your central nervous system's going to be damaged, your metabolic rate could potentially be damaged, your muscle's going to have damage, you could possibly be catabolic because of all the stress that you put on your body, and physically, psychologically, mentally, you're going to be drained and messed up. So you're going to need at least 1 to maybe 3 weeks, again depending on how hard you've pushed yourself and how hard you push yourself into that overtraining state. But try and avoid that, because we know if you're having to have 1 to 2 weeks off of training and not go and do anything, that's going to mess with our heads as well, because we're going to feel small, we're going to feel like we're losing all our gains, we're not going to have an appetite, so we're not going to really eat a lot of food, and we're just going to be pulling our hair out and going mental because we want to get back in the gym, even though we know that we're not meant to. So make sure, if you haven't reached that state yet, that you are implementing rest days. It's so important, and also making sure that you have good nutrition within your diet to associate with your training levels, you know, and your training intensity, so they match with each other. So all the intensity that you do, you have the right nutrition to balance it out, so you recover in time, you repair the muscles in time. That way you're never going to actually overtrain. Overreaching, like I said earlier, is fine in moderation, so you could do it 1 week and then go back to your normal workouts. Here and there is absolutely fine, but if you're doing it week after week after week, or day after day, month after month, that is what leads to overtraining. Hopefully that gives you guys a better understanding of overreaching and overtraining. If it did help you out, give this video a big thumbs up for me. If you feel like it was very, very helpful, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. If you have any other questions that you want to send to me, either drop them on here or add me up on Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat, whatever it may be, just go and do it. I want to try and help you out, educate you as much as I can. As always guys, stay safe, make it happen. Peace.
Chasing shadows, they always